This is the Deep Dive from Global Heroes, where positive stories get the spotlight they deserve. Stay inspired by signing up for our newsletter and following us at Global Heroes across social media.
Okay, so today we're jumping straight into something really significant happening in Canada. It's a new national resource called Empowering Connections. Our mission here is to unpack what this is and why the sources we've looked at are framing it as so vital, so overdue. And you really have to start with the numbers because they paint a stark picture. The data shows over 1.8% of Canadian adults are autistic. Okay, but here's the kicker. When you ask about mental health, only 16% report theirs as very good or excellent. 16. Compare that to 70% for the general population. That gap is just huge. And that's precisely what this new service is aiming to address.
Exactly. And what's striking is the approach they're taking. This national support line, Empowering Connections, it's launching October 2025, which, is Autism Acceptance Month. It's a big collaboration, Autism Canada and CN, Canadian National Railway, as the founding sponsor. And crucially, this isn't just like another helpline. The sources are really clear. It's the first of its kind in Canada. Nationwide, peer-informed support.
Right. And let's zero in on that peer-informed aspect, because that seems to be the absolute core of it. It's autistic-led. So the plan is for it to be staffed entirely by trained autistic support line navigators, people with that direct lived experience.
That's the fundamental shift. It's not just about qualifications. It's about genuine understanding.
Yeah, it moves beyond just explaining challenges to actually sharing that understanding, doesn't it?
Precisely.
Yeah.
You skip the getting up to speed part. The empathy is built in. It ensures the support feels relevant, culturally competent.
Makes sense. But thinking about the scale, staffing a national line exclusively with trained autistic navigators, that sounds like a massive undertaking. Did the sources mention recruitment, training?
They touch on it, yeah. Mentioning robust training that really integrates that lived experience into a professional framework. It's clearly a priority.
Okay. And you mentioned it's not just for crisis moments.
All right, that's another key point. It's broader. The goal is tackling that isolation we see in the stats. So it's for everyday stuff, too. Navigating challenges, sure, but also celebrating wins, connecting families with local resources, becoming a real community touchpoint.
That leads nicely into accessibility, which seems really thought through here. Fully bilingual, English and French, obviously important in Canada. But the methods of contact, phone, chat, virtual calls, video, email, that's quite a list.
It is. And it's absolutely intentional. It directly acknowledges the diverse communication preferences within the autistic community. For some, a phone call might be overwhelming. Text, chat, or email might be much more comfortable, much more accessible from a sensory or processing perspective.
So it's about offering genuine choice, respecting how people actually prefer to communicate.
Exactly. Barrier-free access in a very real sense.
And then this level of consideration feels even more critical when you remember the context. What was it? Over half the autistic population dealing with co-occurring mental health conditions.
The need is urgent, and this approach addresses it head-on. It's why you see people like Miranda Pachal from CN's ADA-PT group calling it transformative. And her point is that this model, being peer-informed, autistic-led, is a milestone for social advocacy. It shifts the power, centers lived experience.
So wrapping this part up, the big takeaway seems to be the power of putting lived experience right at the center of care design. It suggests that for support to be truly effective, authentic, well, you need people who actually get it.
Which brings us to a final thought for you, the listener, to really chew on. Given everything that makes this service seem poised for success, being peer-informed, having that multimodal access, being proudly autistic-led, what does this model tell us about the future of support services more broadly? Should this kind of lived experience leadership become the standard? Like for any specialized support line, should having peers at the helm be considered essential for building trust and delivering truly effective care? Something to think about. That's it for today's Deep Dive. Want more? Stay connected with Global Heroes through our newsletter and socials.